Change. Some people fear it, some people ignore it, some people embrace it. Taking action. Some people fear it, some people ignore it, some people embrace it. Today, I'm going to ask you to embrace change and take action. But before I do that, let me ask you a couple questions. Who taught you? Who taught you about money? Who taught you how to save? Who taught you how to spend wisely? Who taught you about retirement, investing money, how to borrow money, about that first car loan you got? Some of your answers may be, well, I taught myself, or my parents taught me. Some may even say, well, I taught myself, but I learned the hard way. One thing you won't hear people say is that I learned it in the classroom. And why is this? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because everyday money management and financial literacy is not taught in any classroom. So today, I'm going to ask you to understand about financial literacy, embrace change, and take action to add a financial literacy class to the high school graduation requirements. But first, let's define financial literacy. Financial literacy is defined as the ability to understand money, money management, business, finances. I believe there are 5 components to money management. Budgeting, how to create a budget, how to follow a budget, change a budget, having your income and expenses. Money management, how to balance a checkbook. How do you know how much money you have? That's all important parts of money management. Credit, learning about credit cards, auto loans, mortgages, and how to manage student debt. Credit score. Credit score has become so important, not only to get better rates, lower payments, but to get lower insurance rates on your car or homeowner's insurance. Also, it's important to even getting a job. Did you know that a poor credit score can be the deal breaker in you getting that dream job or not? Well, it can. And how about investing in retirement? Also important to financial literacy. Here I've listed the Michigan curriculum for high school graduation. These are the requirements to graduate high school. You see math on there, English, science, foreign language, even online learning, and a half a semester of economics. So why should we study financial literacy, and why should that be important to graduating high school? Well, financial literacy and money management is becoming more and more complex these days. With technology, there's a lot more options for consumers out there to manage their finances. Fraud, you hear about it all the time. How do you know about fraud? How do you know how to manage it? What if it happens to you? That's all part of money management and financial literacy as well. There's a lot of complicated choices out there, especially around investing. Options, stocks, mutual funds, derivatives, annuities. A lot of choices for consumers. How do you even learn about that? And there's a lot of information out there, a lot of commercials on TV. How do you wade through? How do you know what's good? How do you know what's bad? How do you know what to believe? Well, that needs to be taught, and taught in the classroom. Along with, as I mentioned, the importance of good credit. A credit score can really take a turn for the worse very easily, and it can impact young students, can impact you later on in life. Thus, it is so important to have financial literacy as part of a high school graduation requirement. I want to talk a minute about economics and financial literacy. And I do this because currently, as I mentioned, economics is a half a semester of a requirement for high school graduation. So economics, well, let's see, a couple important components of economics. One is supply and demand. How often do you think of supply and demand every day? I bet you don't. But how often do you think of, how much money do I have? Or do I have enough money to stop and get something to eat today? Also, anybody know what the consumer price index is? Bet you think about that every day. Not. But I do bet you think sometimes of, gee, where do I want to be when I retire? Or how do I get there? When you get toward my age, you may start thinking about that. So I'm not here to bash economics. I just don't think it has a place in high school. And it's not for everyone. Where financial literacy benefits all students, economics does benefit some. Those that want to go on to business school, maybe major in accounting or finance. But again, financial literacy will benefit all students. That's why it belongs in the high school curriculum. So now I'm going to ask you to take action and help me get financial literacy part of the high school requirement for graduation. So you're probably wondering, how do I do that? Well, I've made it in a couple easy steps. The way that we can get the curriculum changed for high school graduation is we have to have a representative, a congressman or woman, sponsor a bill. So how do you do that? Well, we have to contact them. So a couple easy steps. First, you got to find who your representative is. By going to this website, house.michigan.gov, you can simply type in your address and your state representative will come up with all of their contact information. What I want you to do is send an email, call, or write a letter to that representative asking them to put financial literacy as a high school graduation requirement and even take economics out of the picture. I have made this easy for you. As you leave today, there's handouts, and I put on those handouts examples of what you can say or write to your representative. So I'm going to conclude by saying, knowledge is something no one can ever take away from you. Knowledge equals power, which equals success. Please help the students of tomorrow. Please help them obtain the knowledge of their everyday finances so they can be financially and feel financially secure for their future. Thank you.